just had a very stressful day. It is 5 o'clock, so of course it's black as night outside because it's fall. Okay. So, I don't like doing the political videos as much. I generally think if it's as in the big of an arena as politics, someone else has said it better more often, or more people have done it. There's no point in me. I have little to add to it. But this has been a really weird year. It just has, particularly for politics, for lots of stuff in general. But in this instance, it's the reaction to the election results. I did another video where basically I posited this election is particularly unusual because lots of people vote for different reasons, but in this one, I suspect the number of people who did not vote for Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, I think a lot of people who cast their vote for either of these candidates didn't cast their vote for either of these candidates. They were specifically trying to... A protest vote is not quite the right term. They both stood as a sort of like a stand-in for a particular cultural movement at this time. Hillary Clinton she set herself up to be the PC culture, SJW, business as usual, honestly, as much as they talk about change, that it's very much the status quo. I mean, she was the status quo candidate for, or even the expansion of this PC, SJW, safe space sort of culture. And there's nothing wrong with the motivation behind that culture, which is to treat people well, to help people, to keep them safe from harm, and to allow them to express themselves, and so on and so forth. Good motivation, very poor execution. Because the net effect of that culture, that cultural movement, I'm going to call it a cultural movement because I think that sounds more right. The net effect of that is to silence people. It's, if you don't like what someone has to say, shame them. If you don't like someone's opinion, shame on them. They're awful people. They're words used so often they've become almost meaningless. Homophobic, transphobic, misogynist. I mean, the word misogynist has become meaningless at this point because it's thrown away at everyone. Anyone who disagrees with a certain point of view is just, that's a misogynist. So Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have become sort of stand-ins for different approaches to that cultural movement, either firmly in favor of it in the case of Hillary Clinton or firmly against it in the case of Donald Trump. So when we had these election results, it's, all these people are in favor of racism and misogyny and blah, 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 that's all that I just mentioned. It's like, no, they're actually against using those terms willy-nilly for everything bad. I mean, air pollution's racist at this point. What's more is we're in the 21st century, and there's this weird, I think it's a 21st century problem, where we're deluged with information, ideas, images, pictures, thoughts, words, I mean, just everything. On all quarters, it comes from so many sources. I'm not even on Tumblr yet, but God, just so much information, so many ideas, so many thoughts, and so many retweets, you name it. But we have an unprecedented control over it. We have to, or else we'd be just deluged by nonsense we didn't give a shit about, and you just ignore it. So you friend or favor or follow stuff that you like, and you unfriend, unfollow whatever you don't like. That's how those work. That's the built-in mechanisms for how those ideas and systems work. The downside to that is, well, the upside, let's talk about briefly. It's you're given access to a wealth of ideas and information and news as it happens. That's fantastic. That's a miraculous. It's a wonderful cornerstone of the 21st century. But the downside to that is it's so easy to lock out the ideas and that you don't like, but not just those ideas, but those ideas are being expressed by people. I had a stressful ass day, and in response, I'm eating the last of the Halloween candy. I really earned it. It's been a rough day. It's been a rough couple of days. Anyway, my point is, everyone wants to point at someone and go, this is the person or idea or thing that's to blame for Donald Trump, the Donald Trump presidency specifically. And I don't think that's fair, but that said, they have a point when they're saying that used to call it the left quarter, I'm gonna keep calling it that. The left quarter, the quarter of the population that voted for Hillary Clinton, for example. The reaction to the Trump presidency has been forwarded to me in a number of videos, which I have to admit are hilarious. They're, among other things, the Young Turks. Now, as an aside, I know virtually nothing about the Young Turks. I have nothing to do with them. They don't really seem like my thing. They're very, very left quarter. Very much so. And I got highlights. I actually got a number of videos where it was their reaction before, during, and after election. But, oh my God, it didn't even occur to me that there would be this much hyperbole, this much recrimination, and it was funny. And it was funny because, in their own way, the Young Turks, not them specifically, but that movement, that idea that the media, I always look at that with a little caution because I don't think there is a the media anymore, but that all the same, the media, that end of the media, the left quarter of the media, bears a bit of responsibility. I mean, they help disseminate, help propagate, help bring to the forefront that cultural movement that a lot of people are strongly opposed to. Just calling people names. In other words, instead of saying, hey, I disagree with your opinion, you're not just, I don't just disagree with you, you're not just wrong, you're actually stupid. You are a stupid person, you are a hateful person if you don't agree with me. If you don't share the same opinions I do, you're awful. I have
no respect for women who voted for Trump, okay?
Yeah, me too.
I think so poorly of them, and the reason why is because, look, I don't think that you're a single issue voter. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're fucking dumb. When you vote for someone who openly treats women like second-class citizens, who talks about them as if they're nothing more than a piece of meat, who has been accused of sexually assaulting them, who has been caught on tape talking about groping them and grabbing them by the pussy without consent, yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, yes. Okay? You are voting against your best interests. I'm losing my mind tonight because of how stupid the majority of the country is.
Yeah, it's a self-hate is real when it comes to women, and I don't think I keep saying it over and over again, and people were like, oh, you're on this soapbox, this feminism soapbox. As a Latina woman, I tell you, I've heard it over and over again in my family. There's no way a woman can run the country.
That's my cat. He's trying to get my candy, but he's too late. I ate it all. What's shocking about that video is that the implication that people voted for Trump because they didn't want a woman president. Now, I've mentioned before in videos, I have actually quite a few friends who are hardcore Republicans, like pretty hardcore. I don't hate them, I don't unfriend them because they disagree with me. I'm very much in my own place, so if I just did that, I'd have no friends. My point being, I've never seen a single one of them ever mention, well, Hillary can't be president, she's a woman. How crazy would that be? I've never heard that opinion from anyone other than them. And the thing about the Young Turks videos is that that's all they do. It's like, it's so striking. This is the attitude that helped put Trump in the White House, and they don't see it. It's not that they're dumb. That's ostensibly what makes these videos funny. But it's not that they're dumb, it's that they're oblivious. They don't see it. They aren't aware of it. I don't think they would let themselves even conceive that they might be a part of the reason that Donald Trump got in the White House, that Donald Trump won this election. If they had not had an awful candidate, if the culture war had not been what it was, a Democrat could have won easily. Against Donald Trump, really? I mean, of course it could have. Conversely, Hillary Clinton was so despised. She's a despicable person, candidate-wise. And she's... God, I could do an entire video on it, and I don't want to, because I don't like to do these kind of videos. But they're compulsory for a reason. But she's an awful candidate. She really wants to go to war with Russia, and Russia's allies, who at this point are kind of back against the wall. And if Russia wants to stay in power, that kind of leaves them with the nuclear option. So, if you hear me mention that, that's what I'm talking about. It's Trump said bad things. Bad things? Nuclear winter. These things are not equal. Yes, Trump is awful. He's a fucking awful guy. Based on his personal behavior long prior to this, his awful decisions long prior to this, his arrogance, I don't need them to tell me that. I know he's awful. He's fucking awful. But trying to sell your candidate simply on, well, she's not as bad as Trump, that's not good enough. That's not enough. And what she does represent offended a lot of people over the last 2 years in particular. So it does. So I mean, I'm going to try to splice in some of these videos, see if this works. And this is what's bothering me. It's not I disagree with people, it's people who disagree with me are stupid, are awful, and I have no respect for them, I hate them. I mean, like, who talks like that? You talk to people like that, what do you expect? That they're just going to go, oh, well, I am awful. I guess I'll vote for Hillary now. You know, oh, you've hurt me so bad. You've made me aware that I'm awful for disagreeing with you. What were they thinking? And I don't think they're thinking. I think they're assuming just that their attitude is 100% correct. You're indisputably, irrefutably, not even considering that there might be another way of thinking, another way of looking at the world, another way of approaching problems, of solving problems. Their solution is just the best, period. They accept nothing else. I don't think that's the majority of the population. I don't even think that's the majority of the people who are on the left, who tend to lean that way. But there is this minority of people who are just fanatically into this left culture. This left quarter is what I've been calling them. And I maintain it. Anyway, you should see this stuff. It's nuts. Kind of offensive, honestly.
I'm going over the top. I actually don't agree with you guys. I think there was only one reason, the Democratic Party. I think that if Comey hadn't happened, they would have lost anyway. If they had a male candidate who was as establishment as Hillary Clinton, they would have lost anyway. It was the fatal flaw. And so there's nothing they could have done if they ran a greasy status quo establishment candidate. They were going to lose, and they lost. So that's it.
I think that was a big part of it. I disagree that was it.
Of course,
that
I included
that's
that on
all
my
it
list.
was. Yeah.
I mean, many of these states are 1 point away. Mm-hmm. Almost anything can sway 1%
Trump
of the
did
electorate.
everything wrong, and he's still going to win.
Yeah, I know. That's right.
That's how bad of a candidate you
I
are.
want to go back to
I'm
George.
just saying that how bad of a candidate she is one of many things that you can...
I've got to get a move on. It's just getting darker. Okay. I don't know who compiled this. I mean, because obviously, when the Young Turks did their election thing, I assume it was over the course of hours and hours. A couple sites have, like, compiled the best, like, here they are before, during, and after, like I mentioned. And God, I'm going to put a link on this one because this is just, this one in particular, it just does highlights from the beginning where they're like, of course she's going to win. We're awesome. Blah, blah, blah. Trump. And just that sort of breakdown. And then they're like, oh, we're all real quiet now. And then it's just a great video. Like I said, I don't think these people are dumb. I disagree with them. I think they're oblivious. They really don't see their hand in this. Or for that matter, the entire hand of their movement, their cultural movement, their culture.
The idea of Donald Trump beating the person who could be the first female president.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it doesn't
right.
get any worse than
That's
that.
right. That's right.
And as I was waiting in line, there were two older white guys. They're behind me, and in the span of 5 minutes, they badmouth Latinos loudly and very transparently. Badmouth Latinos, Muslims, and black people, okay? And I just couldn't take it anymore. And I just turned around and I told them to shut the F up. We wouldn't have experienced that before. Like that kind of open
That's right.
hatred where you feel emboldened enough to talk like that about 3 groups of people in the country that are different from you. And it scares me. I don't want to live in a country like that.
Yeah.
There was only 2 guys we'd ever banned in TYT history, and one of them was Donald Trump, way before he ran this time around. And he broke us on that, to be fair.
Look, this election's over, okay? Trump cannot win. He can't win for a number of reasons. I mean, putting aside his xenophobia, racism, sexism, and all that gets Latinos and other groups to vote in large numbers. He's incompetent. I mean, in terms of the popular vote, would be always going to be kind of close, but the electoral vote won't be close at all. I think he's going to win by, well, I think Hillary will have 320 electoral votes when it's all said and done, plus or minus 5.
And these videos are hilarious. This video in particular, it's funny. And you don't have to add commentary or anything to it. You just look at it and you know that they're so wrong that it's funny. Once again, I don't want to make fun of these guys, per se, but this is ridiculous, and I don't think they see why. Obviously later, as I demonstrated in these videos, later they're like, oh, it's the Democratic Party. It's everyone. It's, these racist misogynists. No, it's this awful candidate, Hillary. No, it's this stuff that happened. No, it's the DNC structure. It's everyone but us. Is that's where I'm going with all this, if you follow me. It's everyone but us. And they can't see it. They can't see it. But I'm gonna put a few more highlights here, because I feel like it. And this is fun to do. It's fun to watch.
We have some actual election results
Yeah, from Indiana?
from 3 states, Indiana, New
Let's do it.
Hampshire, and Kentucky, all with less than 1% of precincts reporting. So they're a little meaningless.
Here comes Bernie.
But they're all bad news. Let's start with Kentucky because we don't care.
Oh, Kentucky.
73-25 Trump.
Okay, half Kentucky. Who cares?
Second one we don't
No,
care
we
about,
love you in Kentucky.
Indiana. Don't care. 69-28. New Hampshire, again.
This is important.
It's an important one. Less than 1%. I'm sorry. That one actually not less than 1%. That 1%. 1% of the precincts. 53-41.
Disaster.
Okay, the mood has immediately changed.
And in
the
fact, Trump
minute
is
it
now
become-
taking the lead in Florida.
He's taking the lead.
Wait, where?
In Florida.
Okay.
And so, come on, stop doing this every 2 seconds. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
start
agree.
Killing ourselves.
Virginia, 10% reporting.
Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Buckle up.
54-41.
Trump.
Yeah. Just what we,
No.
161,000, 123,000.
No. It got quiet in here the minute we started reporting these real results.
Yep.
And if that continues, there is going to be a pause.
Cry. I will literally cry. I'm
Yeah.
not even kidding.
I can't bear anything more. Up and down the middle of the country, all red. Have we called all those out yet?
Oh my
no,
God,
we
he
haven't.
built a wall.
Okay,
So let me-
he built a wall. North Dakota, gone. South Dakota, gone. Nebraska, gone. Kansas, gone. All called for Donald Trump.
Hold on, this is serious. So the calculation that the New York Times has had as a running prediction of winning the presidency. Last time I glanced at it, John, I don't know if you've been looking at that win presidency meter below the states.
No,
below
I
the
haven't.
map? Well, it was at
Oh, yes.
it was at 80% an hour ago for Clinton.
What is it now?
68%.
Okay, God damn it, I'm nervous. Okay, you should be nervous. This is not kidding around anymore. I'm not kidding. God damn it, if we need Florida, are you shitting me? More bad news. Ohio, now he has built a 6-point lead. 37% reporting, 51-45. North Carolina, he's now taking a 1% lead and with 36% plus early voting in.
Wow.
New Hampshire, 16% reporting, and the lead is down for Hillary Clinton down to 3 points. Okay, yeah, I don't see a fucking landslide here. I don't see it at all.
Forecast of who's likely to win. Donald Trump, now the favorite to win the presidency,
Oh!
51%.
Jesus, this is the most haunting thing I have ever had. We've ever had on the Young Turks. 14 years we've been on the air, and we thought John Kerry was going to win in 2004.
It's okay. Here's the thing. Why is this so funny? And it is funny. It is funny for a couple reasons. One, there's a huge panic about the Donald Trump presidency. It's going to be awful, da-da-da, people will be murdered or something like that. And it's ridiculous. And why do people think that? And I think people think that because they were told to think that. Because sources of information they trusted told them to be in an absolute panic. Here's the thing. This is also why Donald Trump won. Because those sources of information told us to be in an absolute panic about Donald Trump, also told us to be in an absolute panic about John McCain and Mitt Romney and George Bush and everyone. I mean, everyone. It's something that, obviously I'm not in either the left or right quarter, but I've been getting it too. I've been sort of getting some of this business too, where it's like, after a point, after being told everyone is the worst person ever, everyone is the worst person ever, at some point you start to stop listening to it. And about half, well, obviously more than half the population did. Half of them didn't give a shit. They just didn't care anymore. And I don't blame them. That is not a judgment on my part. That is not like, oh, how dare these people not vote. No. That is a perfectly legitimate form of political protest, of political participation. Now, don't think of a non-vote as you're not participating. They are demonstrating, like, look, if you want our vote, you have to do better than this. You have to do better than these two. Half the people said no. You have to do better than that. Huge untapped source of electorate, of this would have translated easily into the Electoral College. You don't get them. You don't get them, and you don't deserve them. Neither of these candidates did.
Huffington Post, what happened to your fucking 98.4%? What happened to your... They said there was a 98.4%. And I keep picking on them,
Well, that
but they
leaves
were not
almost
alone.
2% chance.
They were not alone. All the fucking idiots in Washington and New York. Oh, you guys are worried about nothing. You're worried about nothing. And now this will be true rebel headquarters as Trump and his cronies begin their march against our freedoms. Look, we might literally be targeted. So
The thing that's killing me about this, like bits and pieces are hilarious. I mentioned there's a couple reasons it's funny. Another is the apocalyptic tone. It's, if Donald Trump gets elected, it'll be horrible. It'll be the worst thing in the world. The world will end. This is the end of the world. This is the end of civilization. But if Hillary Clinton got in, everything would be sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, da-da-da-da-da. Well, no. Hillary Clinton was kind of... I'm not even going to get into this whole political situation, geopolitical situation. Briefly, though. The premise is, right now, the Obama administration, the most transparent administration in history, it is kind of pushing for war with Russia. And no one's talking about that. That is the thing that is utterly killing me. It is driving me up the wall. It's like the Obama, and not even to push Obama entirely. This was going on during the the Bush presidency as well. God, the seeds of this were kind of sort of happening at the end of Clinton a little bit, but really it's Bush Obama. Is that they've been like we're still at war with them, just constantly pressuring them, removing power from them, trade embargoes and so on, to the point where Putin and crew, not that I'm any fan of them at all, but pushing them into a situation where they're going to lose their entire administration, possibly their entire government is going to lose power unless they go to war with the U.S. They're not going to go to war with the U.S., not in a conventional warfare. They couldn't win. It's not possible, even if they got China on their side, and that's debatable. But even if they couldn't win a war like that, not a conventional war. So the only option left is the nuclear option. And that's not good, right? And the thing is, Donald Trump is kind of sort of, well, not friends, but apparently he and Putin like each other enough that Putin believes Trump is not going to go to war with Russia, is not going to force a war. That's a good thing. All the bad stuff Trump could and probably will do has to be weighed against. He doesn't want to go to war with Russia. He doesn't want a nuclear freaking war. He doesn't want World War III. Putting it in these terms like, oh, this as black and white, as though with Trump it's hell, with Clinton it's awesome. Oh, that's very contentious.
But I'm at war with the Democratic Party, this corporatist, weak, spineless, pathetic party that lets the imbeciles on the Republican side walk all over this country, that handed power to a raging, not just bigot, but an incompetent. And I'm done with the losers, and I'm done with those donors. I don't give a fuck what the donors want, okay? So the DNC, you think we're coming for you? You're goddamn right we're coming for you. We're going to pulverize the DNC. We're going to rip it to shreds. Yes, we are at war now. So even if by some miracle here, as we're past 11 o'clock Eastern in our live coverage, by some miracle Hillary Clinton wins, I don't care. We're still at war. We're still at war. Because you are this close to handing Trump ultimate power on this planet. Are you insane, you pathetic loser?
So, oh goodness, what the hell? Okay. Yeah, all right. So how do you know which parts to keep and which parts to cut? Any part of this video that made me laugh out loud, I kept. Simple as that. And different ones for different reasons. This bit he just did, I thought was hilarious. Like, look, the Young Turks are significant. Once again, human beings have a confirmation bias. It's just what it is. It's unfortunate, but that's how people are. People watch the Young Turks and shows like it, or for that matter, people watch Fox for the same reason, that it tells them what they already know. It gives them new information, but it gives it to them in a way that's like, yeah, that kind of contradicts things you believe, but we'll put this spin on it, and maybe you were right all along. And it does that with everything. The idea that you're going to go to war with the DNC, my ass you are. Here's the thing. Here's a couple things, actually. The DNC, once again, many factors here. But one thing that lost the Democrats the presidential, and worth mentioning, not just the presidential seat, they lost a lot of seats. They lost a lot of control this election cycle. One of the big factors there is that Barack Obama made a lot of promises. And people like the Young Turks here made a lot of excuses for them. The Young Turks and quite a few others. Not to pick on these guys, although this video is hilarious. It's, look, we still have Guantanamo Bay. This was one of the least open, least transparent administrations we've had ever. And you're making excuses for them. Oh, now you're not going to anymore? Sure you are. Because it'll get you attention, it'll get you more views. Now, worth mentioning, having just said that, from what I understand, their coverage of the election cycle, they beat CNN. They beat CNN's live feed. I'm not surprised, because CNN would be pretty dry. These guys are freaking hilarious. Watching them break down on television, I don't think they realize that. Like, oh, it was a bad election, but wow, we're super popular. Well, no, you're clownish. Something I can't help noticing is that they're funny and upbeat when things are going their way. When things aren't going their way, they are humorless. They are a dour, sour-faced bunch of motherfuckers. There's no humor or joy or soul or spirit in anything when they don't get their way. They go from and that's a talent, being able to laugh off your failures and when things don't go right. It's like, oh, well, I don't want to look like an asshole, so yeah, well, do maybe a little self-effacing. But not these guys. They're not good at it. The second things didn't go their way, and that's why this video is so funny. It is the quintessential visual, the quintessential video, funny video. Charlie Chaplin, Three Stooges. It's the serious guy gets a pie in the face. And that's what's happening in this video. It really is. They are so cool, they're so upbeat, they are so on top of stuff, they are so in the know, and then shit doesn't go their way, and they are a stuffy old guy who might as well have a monocle. Hilarious.
New York Times now has it at 95% chance that Donald Trump is going to be
At
president.
11, 538 still had it at 50-50. It's now 37%.
North Carolina has been called. It goes to Donald Trump. And Wisconsin and Michigan still leaning red. Brought to you by the fucking morons at the Democratic Party. She can still win. Yes, it's only a 5% chance now. But she can still win. But in order to do so, she has to win Wisconsin and Michigan, which we previously thought was not an issue, but it most certainly is an issue now.
The big winner tonight seems to be marijuana, though, and that's a good thing because we need
gonna
something
need
to ease
it.
the pain. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm gonna do as soon as I get home tonight.
It's actually nighttime now. This is taking way longer than I'd hoped. I went to leave the house and get food, so I'm gonna just do this quick thing and then we're gonna close up. Because this video needs to come to an end. My videos are way too long. This one for good reasons. What else is there to add? By and large, I thought this video was hilarious. I think these guys missed the mark, especially early on, but during and after. Blaming everyone but themselves. It's everyone else's fault. And this will sound, maybe this won't sound crazy. I was going to say, this is going to sound crazy. I found watching this, I found it to be very, not just racist, but also very misogynist. For people who pat themselves on the back as being the epitome of fighting misogyny and so on, and equal rights for women and feminism and so forth, it's like women who don't agree with them must be stupid. They literally, on multiple occasions, I have no respect for women. I mean, they just make that broad statement. Women who didn't vote the same way I did, I have no respect for them. And I'm like, well, we're not acknowledging at all the possibility that they might have a differing opinion about different issues? Or they themselves admit, and I'm going to include that because it's awesome, that Hillary Clinton is the worst candidate ever. I mean, if you guys are saying she's the worst candidate ever, then the women who didn't vote for Hillary Clinton didn't vote for the worst candidate ever. Right? It's hypocrisy. It drives me nuts.
I think that we can now declare Hillary Clinton the worst candidate in American history. The worst politician.
In our lifetime.
Certainly in our lifetime. I don't know how, the guys from back in the day, Tippecanoe and Tyler too were. But she lost to a guy named Barack Hussein Obama. she couldn't beat Donald Trump.
Jesus Christ. With everybody on her side. With everybody trying to help her. Frickin' Republicans were coming out of the woodwork to try to help her.
Even Jay-Z tried to help her.
Jay-Z, Beyonce, for Bruce Springsteen,
The Beehive.
everybody, every frickin' television comedian, everybody was on her side. Even guys like Michael Moore.
Robert De Niro.
Everybody, and she still lost to this guy. What does that tell you?
All right, parting thoughts. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that you can't buy the American election anymore. You can't buy the U.S. presidency. Hillary Clinton spent more than twice, I think roughly twice what Donald Trump did. She didn't win. Literally, between the two of them, $1 billion spent for these miserable motherfuckers. That's amazing. My candidate did pretty well. Best any third-party candidate has done in forever. So that's promising. Promising things. No World War III. Third parties did better than ever before. They got more attention, and I think they'll continue to do better. Another parting shot. This isn't as bad as it could be. You think this is as bad as it could be? Young Turks, how about this for you? How about a second term of Trump? How's that sound? Yeah, so I think your party needs to put out better candidates. And I think your news stories have to be a little less left quarter, less dismissive of people who disagree with you. I mean, everyone looks at the map. I've mentioned this before. 146 out of 3,000 plus counties, 146 have half the U.S. population. You ignore, 2,900 counties in the United States at your peril. And that's what Hillary Clinton did. I mean, they're going off on, like, what does that tell you? And by telling us everyone was behind her. Well, clearly everyone was not behind her. She lost precisely because she didn't get more of the Democratic vote. The Democrats, this is the most anemic Democratic vote we've had since 2000, since 2008. No, long before then. So, yeah, I mean, no Democrats came out. Republicans voted in the same numbers they always did. They lost a lot of people. They gained a lot of people. We still did worse than John McCain. Both of them did. This isn't history-breaking awfulness. This is, in terms of the electorate. I mean, blaming this on the electorate's ridiculous. They didn't put out two lousy candidates. They themselves admit that Hillary Clinton was just an awful fucking candidate. And then we're making fun of people who didn't vote for her earlier on. So, I don't have much to say about that. I don't have much more to say about this. I'm way running out of steam on this, and I'm very hungry. So, like and subscribe if you're inclined to. Like, I don't usually do political videos like this. They're too much effort, and they're not as much fun. And they're too long. I'm trying to make them shorter. I swear to God, I'm trying to make them shorter. So that's me. I'm gone.